into preview for this upcoming week for Weibel Week.
Why will we?
Yeah,
Why will we week?
indeed. Do we want to start chronologically and start with the dogs,
Yeah.
or do we want to save it?
Egg Bowl first, if we're gonna go chronological.
Okay, well then there you go. Let's talk about the Egg Bowl. What's the spread on that, Drew?
Surprisingly, it was 26.5 this morning. It is now an even 26.
There you go.
They play Friday, for anybody who gives a damn. Friday at 3:30.
Pisses
I also
me
want
off.
to. I also
Sorry.
want to point out that
Travesty.
Oregon State and Boise State play Friday at noon. For anyone who
Mm.
cares, not a rivalry game, but just putting it out there. But yes, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Let's talk about it.
Rebs in a bad spot.
I will go on record and say I already took Mississippi State to cover
That's fair.
at 26.5.
That's a
I
big spread.
It is a large spread.
The only thing that's going against Mississippi State here is that it's in Oxford. It's the only bet.
That's what I was gonna say. If that was flip flopped that kind of line to start, though, I would have already taken it. But no, that's a large line to cover. Obviously, Ole Miss kind of licking their wounds after the loss to Florida this past week. I mean, obviously, I think Ole Miss wins, but this isn't a conversation of that. I think Mississippi State, we were talking about earlier. Don't get me wrong; they're a bad team. They got their doors blown off by Toledo. However, they haven't looked that bad the rest of the way through the season.
Correct. I'm down.
They've built on that. Yeah. So I think they probably at least hopefully make it a competitive game, give us another decent game to watch for rivalry week, hopefully. That's all I'm hoping for.
Because, they lost to Toledo in September, 41-17. I believe that's 24 points. All right. Then they lose to Florida, 45-28, which is not that many points. It's a good amount of points. What's that? 17 points. And
3
then
possessions.
They lose to Texas 35-13. All right, that's over. That's 22 points, but that's still not 26 points. And then they hang around with Georgia. They only lose to Georgia by 10. They hang around with Texas A&M. They only lose to Texas A&M by 10. And then Arkansas just beats the living shit out of them. We're gonna move on past that one.
That one isn't service the narrative.
That's right. And then they only lose to Mississippi by 19. They only lose to Missouri by 19. Mississippi State is peaking at the right time. They are holding formerly explosive offenses in relative check and losing by only 3 touchdowns on average. That is what we need out of the Bulldogs from Stark Vegas. I just need them to lose by 3 touchdowns. Or hell, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I don't care. I think it's a rivalry game. Mississippi State has everything to play for. This is their Super Bowl. They have no bowl game. This is good for recruiting. This is good for the coach to keep his job. And on the other side of the coin, what does Lane Kiffin have to rally the troops for? Is Jackson Dart what is Jackson Dart going to get up and play for?
I think
game?
it literally all depends on the rankings. If they're within, within 5 spots of the last at-large bid, they're going to go for it. They're going to get up.
They know they have to, if they're even within the realm of a conversation, they need style points.
Mm-hmm.
It's valid.
They need to win 62-14 to even have a chance to be in conversation.
However, if they're far enough removed, I could see them just packing it in and,
So
playing the Liberty Bowl.
I would say if they fall below 16, they're done. There's no shot unless absolute havoc breaks out.
Yeah.
But for anyone who is looking to take Ole Miss lines out there, they won't know whether or not their season is over because Georgia doesn't play till that night.
They're the first game.
They're the first meaningful game unless Boise State loses. If Boise State loses, then they're like, okay, cool. Doesn't really affect us. But anyway, yes, they're the first meaningful game at the Power 4 level So I think they're going to play for style points no matter what. That's a good point. It's a good point. Not enough to make me feel bad about my bet, but still a very good point.
Mm-hmm. No, I could see Mississippi State covering. I mean, I think it's hilarious. They're hitting their stride perfectly to not get beat by 26 points.
Correct. No,
So,
they can lose by 26. I don't care.
So you take a push.
Don't lose by 27.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got 26
Valid.
and a half. 26 and a half.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
Big
But
half there.
Big half.
Big half. Yeah. For
right.
sure. We can move on to the dogs on Friday. We can just go in chronological order here.
Sounds good.
Black Friday. Sneaky game for the dogs here. If anybody who has made it to this point in the video or is watching this video on its own and does not already know, all three of us are Georgia fans. So if you want to skip this part of the video, go for it because we're homers and we're not going to hide it. But if you want some dog talk, here's your little dog talk segment for this video.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the UMass game. Obviously, hopefully, Drew was saying that might have been looking ahead. Sleepy start, sleepwalking, noon kick against UMass. I get it. Defense has to come to play. Haynes King, I know he's not 100% healthy, but they're going to have him running the ball in some capacity. Philo has looked good.
Yeah, Philo's a problem.
He's looked good, and he's young. And if you get to him and rattle him, I'm sure you'll be okay. But the defense has to play better. They can't have that kind of performance. UMass, I believe, it had over 200 rushing yards the entire game. That's my main point of emphasis. The offense has seemed to hopefully have turned a page. I love the use of the tight ends, getting them the ball, getting them touches, receptions. They don't have Brock Bowers, however, they could recreate him in the aggregate. So you have three great tight ends. Get the ball to them. That's my spiel. Go Dogs.
Does he get on base?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. If anyone cares, and if I didn't have a pact between myself and God, I probably would be taking Georgia Tech to cover this game. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Dogs don't cover the line in these games.
No. The line is currently 19.5, and I believe last year, did we win by like 12 points?
I think it was a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 21-14. I think
it was ugly. I was nowhere near as drunk as I should have been.
Nope.
No, because we all drove our separate ways, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That game was freezing.
It was very cold. It was very. I would do it again, though. I would do it again.
Agreed.
Anyway, Georgia Tech's going to cover. All right, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The question is this going to be one of those games where we don't cover, but it's in hand? Or is this going to be one of those games where Tech makes it a game? And as a Georgia fan, right now, based on what we saw this past Saturday, I think Tech makes it a game. It makes my skin crawl to say that. And by make it a game, I mean we don't start to breathe until midway through the fourth quarter.
I disagree.
Okay.
And here's why.
I hope I'm wrong.
I'm going to say we a lot. Pardon me. I'm French now. I don't care.
I gave the disclaimer at the beginning. Yeah. They're free to skip if they don't want to hear us bounce on it.
I think
so.
Doing tricks on
it. Patrick Mahomes.
Refocus. Right.
Sorry. Continue.
I think the team didn't expect to be in this spot, having clinched a spot in the SEC championship. We had kind of written that off as a possibility. I think this sparks kind of a second lease on life for this team. And I think it's also very advantageous. We don't know who we're going to be playing yet. So why even worry about that game? That game's in the future. Opponent hasn't even been decided yet. So who cares? Let's just go out, control what we can control, take care of business, and then we will take the extra night of rest and roll it into SEC championship prep. That's what I think. I think that's where the mindset of the team's at. Kirby's had 11 games of this under this team's belt. He knows this team by now. He knows the leadership. I think it's early, or sorry, I think it's close in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we pull away in the second half. That's what I think.
So do you and I disagree by a quarter? Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just think like tide starts to turn mid-late second quarter. We carry it into the half. Take it to them in the second.
Go
Yeah.
up 2 tutties into halftime, and then get the ball to start the second half and just put it away.
Yep, pretty much.
I'd be happy.
That would
I'd
be
very
ideal.
happy.
I would be
I'd be
very
happy
happy
with
with that. I have no delusion that we're gonna go in there and be world beaters and blow the doors off of them. Hey, if it happens, I would love to see it. However, I don't foresee that happening, especially with the way that this Georgia team has started in every game that they've played in, win or loss.
Yeah.
Even against UMass, it takes them a second to get up and get warm and get going. No matter what happens, I mean, look at the Tennessee game. I mean, I would argue, as a Georgia fan, collectively in a game as in a whole game performance, that's one of the better performances Georgia's had the entire season, and they were down 10 points in that game.
Yep.
So it's just how Georgia plays football this season. Sadly, it's the case. I don't understand it. I truly don't. I don't get the slow starts after a week of practice. But as long as you can make adjustments in game and be able to fix it and do better down the stretch, I guess it doesn't matter. It matters for my blood pressure and my heart health. But in the overall outcome of the game, I guess it doesn't. So we'll see. I think unfortunately I'm going to say we too. We're all French now. We let them stick around for probably longer than I would like them to.
Yeah.
So
I will say the one good thing about Tech's program being on the rise is that I think this game is starting to mean a little more. Because especially in the past 3 to 5 years, like once we play this game, like we're pretty much on cruise control.
Yeah.
We already know that we're in the SEC championship game. It's a very easy look ahead spot. Tech has been better, but especially like the first part of this half decade, just god awful. George Pickens is throwing players into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree.
just and I see. I hate that. Like in my mind, like, oh yes, I want this game to mean something. However, I don't want to lose the game. Like that. Like what
that's
I
what I
think
was
what
going to
it's
say.
what it's going to take for this game to like re-spark the rivalry is that we're going to have to lose one of them.
I was going to say the same thing. It only gets to that level if we lose.
Yep.
And let's not kid ourselves. We're going to lose to Georgia Tech again at some point. I mean, as much as that sickens me to say, we're not going to beat them every matchup forever and ever. So, but it would be very sick. I would actually love that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It definitely is though, without losing, starting to creep towards meaning more where they're actually like an oh shit, we could mess around and lose this game kind of team.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have very well lost the game last year. Like we said, it was only a 1-possession game, final score.
Yeah, that one didn't really feel like a 1-possession game, but yes, I mean, indeed it was. I was so cold, I don't remember how that game script went, but all that really matters is they were within one score of at least tying that game. So
right. So I don't know. I think like of all of our rivals, I hate to lose to Florida the most. However, Georgia Tech would be the most embarrassing. So I think that also like kind of adds a little fuel to the flame.
I would agree. That would be rather embarrassing as a Georgia fan at this point in our lives. Because what was the last time? 2016? 15?
16.
It's either 15 or 16.
Kirby's first season.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there you go. That puts things into perspective, but enough about the Dogs. That'll be our matchup of the weekend. However, there's a couple more very key matchups this weekend. I don't know. Is there any other games we want to talk about outside of the two obvious ones that I'm thinking of right now?
I mean,
Drew, if you want to run us down the rest of the schedule, just anything that
chronological order.
looks
They're just
interesting.
the game. Tennessee heads to
Mm.
Vanderbilt. The Palmetto Bowl is also at noon.
Palmetto Bowl is one I want to touch on.
Yeah. Okay. Notre Dame, USC. The Iron Bowl's
Mm.
at 3:30.
Yeah.
Arizona State, but like that really only has implications in the Big 12, which could lead to a playoff berth. But as it stands right now, Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, TAMU, which is obviously another one we want to talk about.
Oh yeah. SEC playoff championship or SEC championship play-in game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I mean, yeah. Other than that, I mean, there's a few good games in here sprinkled in, but yeah. I mean, there's not really any like world beater games like there was.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. When you were going down that list and you said 2 games in particular, you said the game and the Iron Bowl, and our visible reaction was, is crazy. I mean, obviously, Michigan is Michigan this year. They've fallen off tremendously, lost so much. It hasn't been a good season whatsoever. They're not really even a threat to Ohio State. And then Auburn, I mean, this one is in Tuscaloosa, right? If it was in Jordan-Hare, I might be a little bit paying attention to it more. But now that Alabama's lost, it doesn't really feel like mean as much. I mean, obviously Auburn still wants to beat them, but if Alabama was 10-2 going into this, they could eliminate them from the playoff potentially. Then it'd be something more to pay attention to. The line, 10.5.
It's 11.5. And what is the line for the Michigan Ohio State game?
Oh, jeez.
I have this one in front of me. I'm
Is that like a 20 plus? I'm gonna go like 21 points.
Ooh, send that boy to Vegas.
Yeah.
Hey, I know ball every now and again.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what feels right. So Ohio State's a 3-point favorite over Michigan.
Yeah. Wait, what?
No, three possession. Sorry, excuse me. Long day, bit scattered. 3-point. Yeah, that line is. Since then I have put so much money on Michigan. Me personally, the line has come all the way down to 3 points.
Wow, that's crazy.
Single-handedly.
Man said, I'm going to put $1 billion on Michigan.
They got Bryce Underwood out there playing Saturday.
Get his ass out there now. Yeah, they need him.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. Michigan's already bowl eligible. Ohio State's throwing this damn thing in cruise control. It would be funny as hell if Michigan beat Ohio State.
That would.
Because I think, that would... I don't even know what would happen, because there'd be a 2-way tie between Indiana and Penn State to make the conference championship game.
This game's gonna get ugly, though. That's what I think. I think Ohio State's gonna beat them by 30. They're gonna smoke them.
The only way that doesn't happen is if Michigan pulls what Vanderbilt did to Alabama on Ohio State. Like, they need to get a pick six early and then just churn the shit out of that clock.
Yeah.
And come away with points on every drive and make the noose tighten around Ryan Day's neck. Make him feel the pressure of, oh my God, I am blowing it. And that's the only way. Because, I mean, Michigan's got a decent rushing attack. It's just
quarterback.
Ohio State. Yeah.
Quarterback.
Yeah. And Ohio State can comfortably, I mean, you've seen it against Penn State. They can comfortably throw 7 to the box. They're going to out-athlete you on islands outside. Even if you could throw the ball, they're going to out-athlete you at the DB position. And they're going to say, okay, beat us with your arm. And we know you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tennessee Vanderbilt's more interesting. I don't know. Vandy's done it before. I feel like Vandy was peaking in late September, October, and I've kind of fallen off a little bit. What are y'all's thoughts? Do you think it's even worth discussing with Tennessee being a 10.5-point favorite?
Another one of those new lease on life situations, like I talked about with Georgia. I think it's Tennessee sees this as we have been gifted a playoff spot. We need to come out and take care of business. Frankly, it's on the road, which
Just win the game.
just win the game. That's all I got to do. Win the game. You get a week off. You get an extra week. Sorry, extra week of practice before you're probably traveling on the road.
Probably going to Big Ten country.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not Big Ten country, it's Indiana with Notre Dame playing host. So it's still Big Ten country.
Essentially,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, not really much to talk about there. I mean, unless Vanderbilt gets a pick six like they did against Alabama and turns
You never
the
know.
clock and just closes the noose around Heupel and the Tennessee offense. I mean, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I would agree they have a better chance than Michigan at least.
I would say so. But I think Tennessee's defense is very good. Not great, but very good.
I think they're good enough, but definitely one to keep your eye on down the stretch on Saturday for sure.
Then what should be the best noon game? We got the Palmetto Bowl, South Carolina at Clemson. Speaking of good defenses, this might be a hot take. I don't even know if it's a hot take. Couldn't tell you. This South Carolina, for the first time in like a decade and a half, has a better defense than Clemson.
At least front seven wise.
Yeah, front seven. I don't know about the back end. Clemson has been pretty consistently under Dabo. Very, very good in the back end. But I would agree with you, front seven. I would probably take South Carolina over Clemson in that regard.
Yeah, and even them being in the same conversation as having as good of a defense or a better defense than Clemson under Dabo, a Dabo Sweeney-led Clemson team is an accomplishment in and of itself for South Carolina, in my opinion. So, what is, Mr. Allen, I know you have it, what's the spread on this game?
2.5 in favor of Clemson. So they're pretty much saying if this was being played in
neutral site,
Charlotte or Atlanta, it'd be a pick'em.
Total's 49.5. I think I like the under here.
I fuck with the under.
I might flirt with that. I like that.
I think that both teams are going to have to rely on their run games and their short passing games. Which is going to be very interesting because the strength of both of these defenses are their front sevens, but the weaknesses of both offenses are their downfield air attacks. So I think it's going to be strength on strength, big on big. And
I like the RB matchup here. Rocket Sanders, Phil Maffa.
Yes.
I'm a big Rocket Sanders fan.
I like him a lot.
Yep. I don't know. I would love to take South Carolina plus the points, just because I feel like no matter how you slice it, I feel like it's going to be a good game. But I don't know. I'm not comfortable enough doing it. Not comfortable enough putting down the Quan on this game. I think I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy a good football game.
Yeah, that's valid. And kind of on the same note as what Noah's been saying, I mean, Clemson is right back in the mix. Right back in it.
Do you think the winner of this game has playoff hopes?
Probably. I think
especially if it's Clemson.
ESPN may send a reporter out on Selection Sunday. They might do it.
They might do it.
That's a lot. Yeah, I mean,
that is a lot of reporters.
You're right.
You could have hypothetically, up to like 18 reporters. Yeah.
With all the bubble teams, yeah.
We're to see Harry Lyles Jr. out there.
What y'all know about Gary Striewski? Used to be the host on ESPN on Snapchat. Now he's got
Saturday AM, right?
Yeah, he does pre game day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Honestly, good for him. But yeah. So Notre Dame, USC, literally all Notre Dame has to do is win. I don't think they need any style points. They could win by half a point and still be in the playoff.
Yeah.
You want to discuss the Iron Bowl?
No, honestly.
Not at all.
I'm good. Oh, I think can't remember what video I said it in. Long recording, a bit scattered, but I will say it again. A lot more interesting if Alabama wouldn't have lost. Auburn obviously wants to play spoiler, but that storyline isn't as good with Alabama's recent defeat, licking their wounds coming into this game. I'd like it more if it was in Jordan Hare,
Yes.
but I think Alabama probably gets it done in the end.
Probably, yeah. And I mean, the line's not enough for me to even look at.
I'm not going to touch it. I might hardly watch it. One of the
I'll watch it.
more, I'll probably watch it, but one of the less entertaining as Iron Bowls as far as stakes go, in my opinion.
I mean, especially since I'll be at my grandparents' house, I'll definitely be watching.
Yeah, okay, well then that makes sense, but
Yeah.
it'll be on.
Yeah, be on. SMU win the damn game. Honestly, SMU could lose this game and still make the ACC championship. Pretty inconsequential, but they're playing Cal at home. Just win the game. Arkansas, Missouri. Who gives a shit? Both are bowl eligible. Neither one of them are going to make the playoff or the SEC championship game. In my opinion, Indiana just win the game. I'm trying to stall. We're going to skip over that one. Kansas, Iowa State. This does play into the Big 12 championship game discussions. Because, if you haven't seen or heard, the top 8 teams in the Big 12 are still alive for the Big 12 championship game. However, the more likely of that is either Arizona State, Iowa State, BYU, or Colorado. None of them play each other, which is the only thing that makes it really interesting. But I believe if Arizona State wins and Iowa State wins, they have the easiest path. They need the least amount of help anyway. So yeah, all right. Well, do we just have the one left?
Yeah, I think we cut to the chase here, fellas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about get to brass tacks. Talk about the big one. Yeah, the Longhorns travel into College Station to take on the Aggies in one of the biggest installments of this matchup in a very, very long time. This is the first time
2011.
they haven't. How long has it been since they've met?
2011.
Yep.
Yeah, Justin
Oh.
Tucker.
Yep. In a last-second walk-off touchdown. It was nuts. I remember watching that game because I remember my dad explaining to me oh, this rivalry has been heated. It's been amazing, and these guys hate each other. Texas A&M has in their fight song, saw his fucking horns off or something along those lines. The students changed the words a little bit. But yeah. Just the fact that rivalry wasn't going to be renewed with Texas A&M leaving the Big 12, and now we are back. I don't know, the de facto SEC West championship game.
Yes, correct. It's just crazy how it played out to be. This is just a playing game.
Yep.
All the chaos on Saturday, and this is what we're left with. Georgia accidentally making the SEC championship and getting play the winner of this matchup. This is an interesting one, and I'm curious to see. I don't know if there's been any updates. I know Quinn Ewers' status has been in somewhat of question the past couple of days.
I just
Noah's the
looked,
inside
no
man on that
updates.
So we're still
The word
as
on
of
the street, as of Sarkisian's media availability earlier today, he was going to try to practice this afternoon. Don't know how that went, but I'm assuming he practiced. But I know he was, precautionary MRI, which is never a good thing.
No, to get to that level.
I mean, if I had an MRI machine, sure, sometimes I'd pop a knee in there, see what's up, but not regularly. I wouldn't do that for fun if I were, Quinn Ewers.
No,
No, I mean, there's got to be some level of discomfort to even warrant a precautionary one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, it's got to be to a certain degree where it's like you probably need to. So that's telling in and of itself, I think.
It's yeah. I mean, I don't know. Noah probably has a better source, with his buddy in the training room down in Austin.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, even if you have all the money in the world, and even if you own the MRI machine, which Texas probably does, they probably have like 8 of them chilling in the athletic department broom closet. But I mean, I don't know. You don't. But also on the flip side of this coin, is Texas really just messing with Texas A&M? It's like, oh, precautionary MRI on our starting quarterback. So
I don't
like
know. That's a
they
good TikTok though.
so like they plant the seed in the back of their mind that like, oh, we have to game plan for Arch just in case. Like I don't know. I don't know. This has been a dormant rivalry for 13 years. Like you think you gotta spark it back up somehow.
Yeah, got to get one over on them. I mean, you know, I hell, that could be the case. Maybe like screw it, get them an MRI. We can report on it
Yeah.
and make them think that they might have to play Arch Manning. Who knows?
Arch actually trots out for the first play and immediately gets subbed
Psych.
out.
Yeah.
There was an injury in the second quarter. I went back and I looked. So he attempted 26 passes in the first half and only 5 in the second half. So they obviously knew something was up and changed the way they were calling plays. So
Yeah, and they were luckily enough in that point in the game had the luxury of kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Salting away the game against Kentucky didn't really need him to do much, and
No.
so didn't really show, at least in the rest of the game, to how severe it was, the severity of the injury. But either way, I think even with Arch, it would be really interesting to see him in this spot in this game. I think at the end of the day, if I'm Quinn, I mean, if I'm physically willing or not willing, physically able to play this game, I'm playing. I'm gonna be out there. It's just too high of stakes to miss.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not only like stakes. I mean, it's also the heart aspect, right? Because this is probably his last regular season game in the Burn Orange, and
Oh, yeah.
not only is it his last guaranteed game, it's against Texas A&M, and yes, winning national championships at Texas is a huge deal. Winning conference championships at Texas is a huge deal. But beating Texas A&M is like right there, right underneath that. I don't know. I don't know. I think if he's like you said, Brandon, if he is physically able to do so without being a detriment to the offense, he will play. Um, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game. I think it should be Texas, but there's the aspect.
You never know.
You know.
Yeah, and it's in College Station. That place is gonna be
Raucous.
bumping.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. A&M at their best kind of has this little two quarterback system with Marcel Reed and Connor Wegman. If they can strike that well and keep Texas's defense on its toes, especially that front seven, keep them guessing, can't have a free rush or anything like that, could be big. So, I don't know. It's hard not to think inside of my Georgia fan brain who I would rather play in the SEC championship here and let that influence my pick in this game.
Yeah.
But like you said, Drew, I think Texas probably should win it. But I mean, they've been weird all year, and their schedule really hasn't reflected their ranking. And the one game that they have played that has been of competition at the same level as them has been Georgia, and they got beat thoroughly in that game, and that was at home. Now I know that that's been a few weeks ago now, and they have had time to address issues and bounce back from it. But I mean, this is the hardest road game of their entire season.
Yeah.
So if they don't bring it, they're going to lose the game.
I agree. I agree, and I don't know if Texas has really just been not really caring about winning margin or what, But yeah, they have been looking less and less like a top 4 team in the country. They have been winning games. Kudos to them. But I think if you swap helmet colors with them and their record and their schedule and their resume with SMU, I think that they switched positions because they both only have one loss, and I mean SMU has been balling, but they have a pony on the side of their helmet instead of a longhorn. So
I think
I
I
like that
like
take.
that. I like that take. That's a good take.
thank you. When you just say a lot of words, eventually something smart comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is like, yeah, he was due. He was due.
Yeah.
it was due. I've had 2 takes so far in this long form video that Noah and Brandon, I think, on the last one especially agreed with.
I'm
So
rocking with it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'm on a heater tonight, boys.
Mhm.
While
Um,
you're ahead, brother.
that's
Yeah.
right.
All that to
That's
say,
right.
blatant SEC bias.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Texas's record surely does not reflect the overall picture from the outside
I
looking
hope it's
in. I think it will be. I mean, man, with A&M and Elko and that's the kind of game Elko came there to coach.
Yeah.
It's the kind of game those guys. I mean, you still got Jimbo guys there.
good.
You know, that's the kind of game you came to A&M to play in, and they haven't had the opportunity to have any kind of game with implications like that since they've been there. I think, they ought to be hungry for it. So, I mean, I would love to see A&M win this game. I don't know if they will. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and make a pick because I think this is a very, very close call.
I mean, it's a playoff game for A&M. Not necessarily a playoff game for Texas, but this is definitely a playoff game for A&M.
Yeah, this is an elimination for A&M for sure. That you lose this, you got to do it here. You got to do it, and you got to give yourself a chance to win the SEC championship because it's the only way you're making the playoff.
Yep.
So your back's against the wall. You're at home against one of your biggest rivals that you haven't played since 2011. It's a great storyline.
Can't get up for this.
Yep. No, they should have no reason to be able to get up for this game. So
100%.
we'll see. It'll be a fun one. As a Georgia fan, I'm very excited to watch how this plays out.
Just want
After
to beat each other up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Does anybody else have anything else to add about this game or anything else on the slate?
I just want chaos. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
I got.
Rooting for it. Yeah, want some good
I
football.
want some weird shit to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's when college football is at its best. It's just unpredictable and chaotic and amazing. But anyways, go Dogs. Yeah, that'll be our last Little Georgia thing, I suppose. But yes, go Dogs. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it there. So if you're watching on the long form, thank you if you're still watching from the long form at this point, thank you very much. We appreciate your viewership. If you're watching on any short form as well, we appreciate it. Shorter form in these videos, or if you're coming from TikTok or anywhere else, we've had some pretty good success over this past weekend on the short form on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So we appreciate the engagement there and your support in any way that you view our content. If you enjoyed what you saw, feel free to subscribe and stick around. We do college football content all season long, and right now would be the perfect time to come along for the ride because things are getting very interesting very quickly in the world of college football. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.